Hi guys, Stanley here, and I wanted to show you the process I take to create music for caffeinated dragonware. This episode was supposed to be released last week, but... yeah, I ran into a few setbacks. Anyways, this week I actually managed to get something pulled together as far as the song goes for demonstration. So I hope you guys just sit back and enjoy this look as I create music for Exit Stage Left. Also, we upload every single Saturday, so if you enjoy this type of content, please be sure to subscribe. We'll be covering every stage of the game development process, from ideas to concept art to final art, music, coding, all of it. Anyways, I think it's high time we got started. Alright, so the first thing I usually do when I'm creating a song is I come up with a melody. But I was having such a hard time coming up with one. It was like writer's block, but with music, so composer's block, I guess you could call it. Anyways, so I messaged Lisa asking her if she had any ideas to help me out, and she sent me this. I
don't know.
So, that's what I was working with, and now it was up to me to interpret that and get it into a workable melody. And here's how that went. Yeah, I was having a bit of a struggle coming up with a key to put the song into. So when you're writing a song, think of it like you're creating a cake. In your fridge, you have all the ingredients you could possibly want and more. So you have broccoli, cheese, milk, eggs, ham, potatoes. Maybe you have some leftover Chinese takeout. You have a whole variety of stuff you could use to make your meal, but if you're wanting to make a cake, you gotta choose only a few ingredients. It's the same way, in my opinion, when you're writing songs. I mean, depending on what notes you use, you get an entirely different sound to the tune you're making. So for example, here is the E major scale. Notice how happy and bright it sounds. That's what a major scale does. Now, let's take it and make it an E minor scale. We're just changing a few of the notes around, and you'll notice it sounds completely different. See, that's all the difference in the world, and that is the starting problem I had coming up with what key I wanted the song to be in. Eventually, though, I did settle on this. This is the E minor blues hexatonic scale. Or if you don't really care about all that, it makes it sound jazzy, okay? Anyways, the next thing I did was I took that main riff Lisa had in there and I expanded on it. I wanted it to sound a little bit more varied with each iteration so that it doesn't get too repetitive for the listener. So I did that, made sure it fit the jazz scale, and came out with this sort of melody. And with a simple instrument change, it really did the trick.
Oh, yeah.
So now it's time to move on to the next part of the song. I wanted the song to have multiple parts to it, that way it stayed interesting. So the verse came next. And I had a rough start of it. Here's my first attempt at creating some sort of melody that sounded good as a counterpoint to the main chorus. While I did approve of this at first, in hindsight I didn't quite like it, especially after I added a piano doing a bass line to get a more fleshed out tone to the song. Fast forward to the next day, I had some time to reflect on it, and I realized I wanted the chorus to actually be a bit more fleshed out and tonal. So while I was dealing with what I wanted to do with the verse, I decided to go ahead and improve the chorus a bit. I did this by adding more notes in to create chords on some of the chorus notes so that it sounds more dense and impactful.
Oh, yeah!
Well, awesome as that was, I did have to stop fiddling around with the chorus and finally get to work on improving the verse and actually getting it workable. So I sadly had to scrap my hard work from yesterday and do the verse over from ground zero. It should be noted that I didn't even keep this. You can hear how I'm still holding on to the original verse I made. I didn't quite want to let it go yet. But moving on from that, let's talk about the bridge. For that, I decided I'd take the first bit of the chorus, the part that was like, da-na-na-na-na-na-na. I decided to take that and repeat it a whole bunch, changing the notes a little bit here and there and getting a nice sort of bridge going that builds up the tension. Okay, meanwhile, how was it going with rewriting the verse? Oh, yeah, still struggling. With enough fiddling around, though, and inspiration from the chorus again, I finally came up with something that sounded really, really good. I was really happy with how it turned out. And anyways, after some tweaking here or there, I had the chorus, verse, and bridge created as far as melody goes, and then it was just time to add more instruments. So the first thing I did was I created a piano and drug and dropped the notes in from the trumpet, and then decided to tweak it around a bit until I got something that was more of a supporting role instead of a lead role. Also, notice how I offset the beats of the piano on this upcoming part. I did that to add some more momentum to the song. It gives it a nice sort of extra push, Anyways, the next thing I did was add an orchestra ensemble that played only short, hard-hitting notes, and I decided that would be good for extra punctuation in the song. This was followed by another orchestra ensemble, only this time it was able to play long extended notes, and I used this basically to support the main melody and make it more distinguishable. Then the only thing left for me to do was add drums, so yeah, let's get to it. For the opening part, I wanted the drums to just help emphasize those first notes, that da-da-da-da-da-da-da, before they moved into a more normal groove. Then when that sort of cascading effect comes at the end of the intro, I wanted the drums to join in with the piano before we got going with a regular 1, 2, 3, 4 normal sort of rhythm to get you going. For the verse, I went through a lot of variations of the same beat, and it's really here that you can really tell that jazz music, especially with these sorts of scales that it uses, has a lot of overlap with rock music, which in turn has a lot of overlap with metal music. Kind of interesting. And I wanted the drums to join in with the rest of the instruments and emphasize the occasional beat like bap, bap, joining in with them and helping to get a sort of flair going right there. During the second chorus, I have the drums alternate between lots of hi-hats and cymbal crashes for the high parts, that da-na-na-na-na-na-na. And then for the lower parts, I had it do the same sort of pattern, but on the tom drums to help keep the momentum going once again, because this chorus has to be constantly moving, but also to help de-emphasize it and give it some high energy and low energy parts. And then last of all, I just had the cymbals come in with a crescendo like for every other measure, building up to the finale of the song, quote unquote, which is where it would loop back around to the first chorus, assuming the song loops. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what we did here, be sure to subscribe because we drop videos every single Saturday. And until next time, I will play you out with a clip of Lisa reacting to the song when I first showed her. Later, guys.
Oh, and you're not kidding about the bombastic nature of the song. Da, 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 da. Which sample was this from? Or was this something you completely